welcome back. So from the last video, hopefully you watched the last video. I showed you how to quickly run a simple React app using Create React App. It's really simple. The point of this tutorial is to show you how to use SurveyJS and use it with your React already. So again, from the last video, if you watch my last video, I told you that there is some tutorials on YouTube on it already, but I don't believe they are as in depth as what I'm about to show you, and not all of them is in SurveyJS, maybe only one or two. Okay, so let's move on. So we're going to use a very simple one, as a simple text, just text type. There are so many different types of surveys that you can choose from. Question types, text, radio groups, so many types. Surveys, title, logo, quiz, so it's endless choices. All right, so we need to download the package we need. It's called Survey React. So we need to actually download that. So let's kill the server. Control C, npm install -- save. I think it's Survey React. There we go. So while that is downloading, let us go back and create our structure, how we want everything to be structured. We need 3 folders. The first is components, and inside the component I want 3 different folders. One called surveys, another one I wanted to show the survey types, because we're going to create different types. A third one I want it to be survey display. Beautiful. All right, so in the surveys, let's create something called question1.js. So while this is still downloading, we're gonna go, since this is what we want, something like this. Let's refresh it. Again, if you don't know how I got to this page, watch my last video. I showed you where to get it from. So here's something similar that we're gonna do. Let us get the JavaScript. So we're gonna copy the JSON. There we go. And we copy the JSON, and we're gonna say export const copy. And that's it. So we're done with question 1. So the next thing is let's create survey types. Let's call this survey type 1.js. Let's add our boilerplate. Import React from React, basic stuff that we need. Is the SurveyJS done downloading? Yes, it is done. So we can import a few things from it. Let's import the CSS. We do need the CSS, survey-react / survey.css. And then we need import every component of it as survey, capital S, from Survey React. There we go. Okay, so let's get started. Let's create, again, using some ES6 syntax. We're going to use React hooks. We're going to do all of that good stuff. Let's create my survey. Let's return just an empty survey fragment. Survey.survey. There we go. Nope. A self-closing tag. Alright, so we need to pass in the JSON. We need to pass in this JSON that we just downloaded. So let's import it. Import from, if you can hear the background noise, that's my laptop making that noise. So import so we want the questions, the surveys. That's the fan in my laptop here making those background noise. I do apologize for that. So we want the JSON. What did we call it? JSON. Just JSON. All right, beautiful. So we're using the curly break, the curly bracket because we are doing export const as opposed to export default. So you can put more export stuff here and you can export each one of them. If you don't want to use this like that, you can just call this const and say const JSON. Then you can say export default JSON. It's up to you. And then save it, and then remove this, and then call it a JSON. Doesn't matter. And then we'll pass in this JSON. Awesome. So now we let's export the my survey. Export default my survey. So we do have a survey, and I'm going to show you how it looks like. Save it. Can we see it on the screen? No, not yet. Oh, because we haven't. Let's run our app back. Okay, so we still can't see it. Part of the reason why we can't see it because we haven't displayed it yet. Okay, so let's create a survey displayer. Let's say survey1.js. Again, we're gonna import some basic logic. Here, so we're just gonna display everything. So first, just so hopefully you guys are still with me. First, I created the questionnaire. Then I created the survey, basically. Now I'm creating here. I'm gonna do all my logic. So I'm gonna call this const survey1. Using arrow functions. Okay, export default survey1. Okay, so what do we want to do here? We want to somehow show our survey. Okay, and we want to do a bunch of logic as well here. So let's import that survey, this one. Let's import this. So we can say import my survey from survey types. Beautiful. And then we can return that and say return let's see, okay, CSS, we have app. All right, so we can return that and say return into a div. You know what, we don't even have to use the div. We can directly just use the my survey self-closing tag. There we go. And we're gonna add more logic to this page. I just want to show you something on the screen. And now it's still not gonna show anything. That's fine. So now go to your app.js, and inside your app.js, what you really want to do is you want to bring in the survey one that you just made. So you can say import my survey from, so let's say we have we're going to components, and then we're gonna go to survey, what is it called? With all these names that I'm making, I'm forgetting myself. Survey one. Okay, survey one, components. Survey one is in survey display. Okay, awesome. Because we're gonna make more than one surveys, this is why I set it up like this. You understand soon that you can continue to build as many surveys as you want in each of these directory structure. All right, so now my survey, you can put that here, remove that. Okay, so let's see. Do we see something? Okay, it's loading. There we go. This is good. This is good. We need to increase the CSS though. So we need to update the CSS. So what we can do here is we can say we can let's remove all of this flex direction sensor. You know what? Let's give it a flex of 1. Let's see. And then that doesn't do anything. That's because we're forcing it inside the box. There we go. Awesome. So now we can say let us increase the width. We can you know, let's do it from the inspect node. The app itself, we can give that's not working the way I want it to work. Okay, because it's coming with the inherited CSS, so it's blocking it. You know what? Let's do this. I think I know something that we can fix this. This is survey. Are we returning here with class app? Let's also return this. Let's remove the main. And then there we go. Perfect. All right, this is much better. So now you can enter your name, but this looks plain. Let's put a title here. They don't really show you how to, well, they do show you how to put a title. You can just go to one of the examples here and find out how to put the title, but it's really easy. Just go to your questions. You see here's questions. What you want is you want a JSON called title, and then what do you want to call it? Let's call it basic survey 1, comma, and then put a little description below if you want. This YouTube video can be found on www.youtube.com/c/babacademy. There we go. Comma. Save it. Let's see how it looks. There we go. See, this is the CSS that you see here is what comes right out of the box. It works perfectly for you. Okay, so there's still some more things that we can do. I mean, I'm going to show you. Let's go into the survey types. Okay, here. So the first thing is let's test it out. Enter my name, my date of birth, and make something up so you guys don't really know my age. 1940. Color. My email. Give my NYU email. That's where I did my. Undergrad and grad. Complete. Awesome. Thank you for completing the survey. So as you can see, we have this. Thank you for completing the survey. We never input that. That was never done. So how did that get there? Like, we never created a page that says thank you for taking the survey. So why is this showing up? Let's refresh the page. Go back to the original. So to block that, this is by default. That complete page. Let's go back. It doesn't. You see this? This is the custom validator. So we can definitely get rid of that for you, where you don't have to show all of these types. So let's say we have just go straight to it's called show completed page. Set that to false. So it's not gonna show you any completed page anymore. So let's try it out again. And then again, same thing. See, it doesn't show you anything because we set that to false. So that's really good. All right, but we are going to do something else. Now, what about the data? That's the data that we have. How do we pass that? Let's say you want to attach this to a backend. How do you pass that information? So this is where I felt like all the other YouTube channels didn't show you how to work with those data. So what we're gonna do is something called onComplete. So onComplete. So we're gonna pass back data, and let's console.log that data back, just so we can see. So the data comes as something called data dot. You know what? Let's just print out the data first. So let's try it again. And then let's put this back first, because we haven't set up our own thank you page. I'm going to show you how to set up a custom page. Put back my name, my fake age, and email. So let's go to the inspect mode so we can see it. Let's do it on the side so we can see. There we go. We have a bunch of red. These are warnings that comes with using strict mode. So strict mode basically checks that your app is following specific guidelines that React wants you to follow, and you're not using old frameworks. So I can show you a tutorial how to get rid of those, but you can just ignore them for now. All right, so let's do complete. So you do see some stuff printed here. What are those? Let's see if we see our data. We do right here. It's called values hash. So we can print it out and say data.values hash. Now let's do it again. Let's clear this warning for now because it could be confusing. Jack. And then thank you for completing the survey, and that's the information that we just entered. So that's how you pass basic data back. All right, so I mean, this is the most simplest case ever. You can add more logic to this. You can make it more fancy. There's so many things that you can do to this to actually like improve the work. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to pass this data back to the parent component, because this is being called by survey types, is being called by survey1. This. All right, so we can pass data back to here. So let's do that really quick. So I'm gonna pass in a prop called show completed page, and then we can pass. You know what? Let's show something. Let's use React hooks here. We can say use state. We're gonna use use state, and we're gonna use callback. So we're gonna let's create two variables. We say const show page and set show page. Use state. Let's set it to true. So it's always gonna be true. It would always show us a page. That's the thing. And then we're gonna, instead of using this completed page here, we're gonna call this false, so we can set up our own custom page. So what I'm showing here is how to set up your own custom page. So then what we would do now is we would say, let's call this custom page, let's call it set final page. And then just a regular function. And what are we gonna return? We can say, let's return a main, very simple, and say a header, h1. Thank you for taking survey1. Okay, anything else? All right, so now we have, again, sorry for any background noises. So we have set final page. we have to find a way to somehow call this and show this up over here inside. So what I can do is this. Let us pass in what prop do we want to pass when we say show completed page. Let's think about this really quick. So what we want to do here is we want to somehow pass data back so you can see the data on this page as opposed to this page. So I'm thinking about this. So let's create something called uncomplete page. So when the page has completed, uncomplete page, and then here we can use callback mean to its effect and get passed in the data, and then let's print out the data here, console.log data, and then we can what we'll do here is once you click this, once you complete it, this is going to be called back with the data. So we can do that. Beautiful. Now what we want to do here is, now that we're calling this back, we have to pass, well, we'll pass it some dependencies. So we can say set show page here. We can update our state, and we can make it so whenever this is true, since this is true, this will always be, you know, the negation of show page. So if this is true, this will set it to false. If this is false, it will set it to true. So every time you refresh the page, this would update this variable show page. That's what it does basically. Okay, so now let's pass it a dependency to always update show page. We can pass that in here. Awesome. So this is looking much better. So we still haven't done nothing with this set final page. This is our custom page. We don't want to use theirs. We don't want to use this. We want to use our own. Thank you for taking survey 1. So what we can do here is we can set this. We can set this in more of a. We can do it in more of a. Let's see, in more of a conditional way. So we can say. Let me see. We can say show page. If that is true, as you can see, this is true. Insert our survey. If it is false, set the final page. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of this in a div so it doesn't complain to me. There we go. So show page, if this is true, show this. If it's else, show that. So every single time, once you click on complete, it's gonna update the show page, and then it will set the final page for you. So I mean, are we ready to test this out? We can. There's really nothing stopping us from testing. And again, we did all this logic in survey 1. This is why I say this is the logic page survey display. So you can continue to make more, and then survey type is just where you generate the surveys in general. So now that we have that, we need to update this. So we set that to false. We have to remove the console.log here that we're doing. So we have a prop. We need to call this prop in this over here. So we'll say prop, and then let's say prop dot show completed page. What are we passing? Data dot what is it called? Values hash. There we go. So this is really good. And now, oh no, these are still the warnings. I thought we got a bunch of errors. I was like, what? Okay, this is good. It messed up my CSS again. I don't like that though. All right, so let's fix the CSS thing because it messed it up. So what we can do is, so this is the struggles that you might have with this because it comes with its own inherit CSS. There we go. All right, perfect. So what I did is I use the app CSS that we have here on the component side. All right. So now we've set up an amazing logic where we don't show anything here anymore. That's not what you want to do. You want to pass all the logic back to the parent that called it. Or if you're using a context, you pass it back to a context, which then makes a post call to some API. But that's not what this tutorial is about. All right, so now we have all of this. This is decoupled from that. Let's X that, decoupled. So all the logic is happening here. This is where everything shows. And app.js is just clean. It doesn't have any logic here. Survey one has all the logic. Okay, so let's start with saying my name, third, whatever, 1995, color. Let's do gray. I think gray is 125. 125. No, I'm so wrong. Okay, whatever. Email. And now let's see. Does it show our page? We're about to find out. It says, please answer the question. Okay. Yay, it does. Thank you for taking survey one. So let's see, does the data still shows? Yes, it does, right here. Beautiful. The data still shows. This is the data that comes up over here, right here. So over here, we can send data back to the backend of the app. Not really, well, if we were using context, we can pass it back. So this is the first type of survey. I mean, there's more you can do to this. You can censor this. You can make this sensor. You can fix the CSS. And then if you refresh, it takes you back to the survey because it's constantly updating the state from true to false, true to false, true to false. So that's it, guys. I did have another type of survey to show you where we can pick another one from here, but this video is going on for too long, so please leave some comments and let me know how this was. And if you guys like it, I can make another one showing you multiple pages. Thank you.